Have you ever wondered why the rule of thirds is such a game changer for us photographers? In this short video, I'll explain what it is and how we can use it to our advantage. Okay, so spoiler alert, the rule of thirds is not really a rule. Like all so-called rules of composition, it's more of a guide than the rule. Perhaps we should call them tools of composition. The rule of thirds originated in the world of painting and is attributed to the artist John Thomas Smith in 1797. We'll take a look at what it's all about, why we should consider it, and why it's so easy to use. And also, when you should break the rules. And if you stick with me until the end, I'll share a bonus with you. The rule of thirds is probably the first compositional tool we learn as photographers. And in my experience, along with symmetry and leading lines, probably the most useful. But what do we even mean by composition? Well, according to the dictionary, the composition of an image refers simply to what makes it visually appealing and attractive to look at. From a practical point of view, it means what you include in your frame, and equally as important, what you don't include, such as any distractions. We've all seen that photograph where somebody's got a lamppost going onto their head. Not a good look. As well as making our images visually appealing, knowing a bit about composition is a great way to help our images stand out. So that's got to be good. Of all the compositional guidelines, I would say that knowing the rule of thirds and how to use it will go a long way to improving your work. So what is the rule of thirds? Let's take a closer look. Imagine your frame split up into thirds by two vertical lines and two horizontal lines. Where these lines intersect creates four hotspots. The idea being that if we place important elements of our scene on one or more of these hotspots, we produce far more interesting and compelling compositions. Most modern cameras, and definitely iPhones, can display the rule of thirds grid as an overlay, so that'll definitely help us when we frame up our picture. But don't worry if your camera doesn't have that grid. It's easy to use the rule of thirds in practice, and here's an example for you. As you can see in this image, the tree is being placed on the right-hand vertical third, and the horizon on the lower horizontal third. You can use the rule of thirds for any type of image, but in a landscape, the horizon can be lined up on one of the two horizontal lines. The top line if the foreground is more interesting, and the bottom line if the sky has more interest. In portraiture, it's common to have the subject's body on the vertical lines with their head on the hotspot at the top of the frame. There's a really good reason why the rule of thirds is so popular. It helps us in virtually every genre of photography, and it's pretty easy to use. To improve your understanding of the rule of thirds, I'd recommend looking at pictures in books, magazines, galleries and adverts. I'll bet you'll see the rule of thirds in action quite often. The best way to learn is practice, so why not give it a go next time you're up with your camera? Maybe for a close-up portrait or a landscape shot perhaps. With the portrait, try placing one of the hotspots over your subject's eyes. Don't worry too much about cropping the top of the head off. It's not really an issue with such a tight framing. With the landscape, try and get the horizon on one of the horizontal lines, whether you're holding the camera vertically or horizontally. And if you want to go that extra mile, try to get something of interest, a tree or a rock maybe, on one of the hotspots. I'd love to know if you're going to give the rule of thirds a try, so why not let me know in the comments below. And why not tell me how you get on? The rule of thirds is both a traditional and powerful tool to give your pictures more energy and impact, and to make them more interesting for longer. And that's definitely going to be a good thing. So when should you break the rules? The rule of thirds is definitely a great way of producing nicely balanced pictures, especially in landscapes. But the problem is the rule of thirds doesn't always suit what you're photographing. And maybe you simply don't want to divide your frame up into those thirds. And that's perfectly fine. It's your call. It's okay to break the rules. You have my permission. In fact, I would encourage you to do so. And you never know, you may find a unique perspective and a way to present your work. For example, if you have a sunset or a sunrise shot, the sky is probably going to be the main point of interest, and the foreground is likely to be more in shadow. In that case, you would be better ignoring the rule of thirds and framing more for the sky. Or you may be shooting from a higher or lower angle, therefore breaking the rule anyway. So how about that bonus I promised you? The rule of thirds is only one compositional tool, and you'll discover many others as you go through your photography journey, such as symmetry, leading lines, filling the frame to name a few. And you'll also realise that most of the time you'll be using two or more in any given image. So I've got a free PDF download for you linked in the description below, and that'll help you out with other compositional guidelines. Also, in addition to that, if you'd like my ebook, The 3 Essential Pillars of Good Photography, where I talk about composition in more detail, as well as focus and exposure, there's a link in the description below for your free copy. I've had some great feedback about it, and I'm sure it'll be useful to you as well. It's over 40 pages long and good for learning some basic knowledge and also a source of revision. Be sure to grab your copy below. So if you've got something out of this video, please like and subscribe. It's free, very much appreciated, and it really does help others like you that may find this channel useful. And why not click that bell icon to get notified of when I add a new video every week. Thanks so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in another video.